City Cigars inside Caesars, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Today we're going to talk about Atlantic City Cigar Company's line of cigars. We have our Vitolas. We have the Robusto, Corona, Toro, Toro Maduro, and Big Lewinsky. Big Lewinsky is a sun-grown Ecuadorian Habano with Dominican filler, Dominican binder. Our Connecticut shade wrappers are all Ecuadorian Connecticut shade with a Dominican wrapper and Nicaraguan and Dominican filler. The Toro is San Andreas, Mexico wrapper. Binder, filler are also Ecuadorian and Dominican Republic. We have the Robusto 5x50. We have the Corona 5.5x42. We have the Toro Maduro 6x52. The Toro Connecticut shade, same dimensions. And the Big Lewinsky, it is a Vitola in the dimensions of 6x69 ring gauge, a sun-grown Ecuadorian Habano. The binder is Ecuadorian and the filler is Nicaraguan. This is a complex smoke. You're going to find that as you smoke the cigar, as you go through it, you're going to find nuances that change. As you get to that last third of the cigar, it is going to become a lot more complex. It's going to become something that you're going to wish wasn't just 6 inches, but was maybe 7 or 8 inches. Oftentimes, it's said that a cigar pairs well with a whiskey, with a cognac, or a nice bottle of port. I happen to enjoy pairing a nice fine cigar with a fine beer. I find that the carbonation helps move the flavors of the cigar around the palate. With this particular cigar, we have the Atlantic City Cigar Company's Robusto. It is a 5x50. The wrapper is Ecuadorian Connecticut shade. The filler is Dominican Nicaraguan. You're going to find that this is a very mild cigar, medium bodied, and to pair it with a Saison, such as the Brooklyn Soriachi Ace, I think works because the Soriachi Ace is made with the yeast commonly used in champagne. So what you get with this cigar, what you get with this beer is a dryness, and that dryness complements the smokiness of the cigar. And they kind of work off of each other as you're sipping on your beer and puffing on your cigar. You're going to find the overall experience to be maybe new to you, and maybe something that you attempt again in the future. To learn more about our cigars and products, please visit us at AtlanticCityCigar.com. Thank you for watching Cigar TV. Go ahead and light up.
Hi, I'm Jason Martin. I'm a comic book publisher, creator, and artist. I do a lot of comic book conventions, and at the shows I sell a lot of fan artwork. Big pop culture geek, love a lot of TV shows and movies, so it's fun to draw the characters. And then I work for Action Lab Entertainment and run the Mature Readers imprint for them, Danger Zone. And I've created and published comics of my own as well. The Walking Dead is always is very popular right now. It's fun to draw all the different cast members on the shows, try and capture their likeness and their character in the drawings. So that's fun. And then I also like to do pin-up artwork and t-shirt design and graphics as well. It's funny how the bigger comic companies have become corporate, and so they have to change the way they do things, and characters that were known for smoking or for having cigars can no longer be shown smoking. The comics that we do, Action Lab has their regular line, and then the line of comics that I run are the Mature Readers imprint. So anything goes there, so you could have cigar smoking characters on every page, and no one's going to have a problem with it. So there are still plenty of comics where anything goes. With Night of the 80s Undead, you have an undead Austrian actor who smokes a big cigar. It's a story of a Russian zombie virus contaminated Colombian cocaine supply that's unleashed on a big Hollywood party in 1986. And there's a group of teenagers that are at the party next door that's pretty lame, and they want to break into the cool party, but once they get there, there's the commie coke zombie outbreak that they've got to survive. So it's kind of like an 80s action movie, comedy, 80 horrors movie all in one.
What are we making?
We're making creamy margarita popsicles.
See, that's actually still it's all about the cream, homeboy. You got to get the cream on them.
First things first, we're gonna cut a bunch of these limes, and we're gonna squeeze them into this thing.
Nikki's struggling, man.
I'm not. This is smooth.
LA girls, they do not know their way around the kitchen.
Well, I'll make this. I'll make this drink. Sweet condensed milk. Ooh, look at that, creamy already.
Nice.
Super creamy. Yeah.
Dude, you know what? If Tipsy don't go well and I become a porn director, that's what I can use, you know?
Yeah.
To give them like the extra.
An extra added
extra
effect.
just look, yeah.
Alright, it's a cup of water. A half cup of tequila.
Nice.
Splash of orange juice. Gonna give this a nice little stir.
Okay, what we have here is Dixie cups. Fill it 90% full of our liquid.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Creamy Dix.
So you take a lime and you cut the lime into a nice thick chunk like that. Take this, stick it through here like that, and then you drop it down in there like that.
Okay, so once you have this done, it's time to freeze it.
Okay, so we put it in the freezer. Okay, these are some we had in the freezer that's ready to go, okay? So what I want to do is just snip this,
Okay.
and you can peel away that layer.
Alright.
Go ahead. Do it on camera, keep it low.
I don't want you to snip me.
I ain't gonna snip you.
Now we're sprinkling some margarita salt or kosher salt. Whoa.
Way to go, way to go, way to go. Okay, high blood pressure, goddammit.
All right.
And there you have it, creamy margarita popsicles.
So creamy.
Hey, look here, be careful. Okay, don't spread the salt everywhere like Nikki did, because then the stuff starts melting.
Oh, this is really good. Oh, the salt adds the salt adds a little bit of, makes the flavor pop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Delicious.
Sky likes licking things. He only eats the ones that are lickable. Do you notice that? He doesn't ever try the drinks on the show, but the ones you have to lick.
Are you saying that I want some in my mouth?
Uh-huh. That's exactly what I'm saying. Oh my god.
Deputy bartender.
Deputy bartender.
Woo!
It tastes like frozen yogurt.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Inside Joey's Humidor on Cigar TV. Today we're going to review the Nat Sherman 1930 Immerso. Alright boys and girls, let's get started with this nice Nat Sherman. I've got a couple tools here that I primarily use for my cigar cutting. One of them is the V-Cut by Colibri. This is a fantastic cutter. This really kind of does a deep cut. I also have a scissor cut. This is another fantastic tool. This is for people who prefer a more open cut. And of course, I have over here one of my favorite punches. This is a Colibri punch, which is a little bit wider for the thicker ring gauges. We also have this cutter. So if you have a smaller ring gauge cigar, this would be perfect for it. Now, what we're gonna do here, this Nat Sherman is basically a Nicaraguan and Dominican filler, and it's a Dominican crown wrapper. It's medium to full in body, and let's go ahead and get this cracking. Now, I don't know if you can see this here, but look at how wide a cut this actually makes on this. It really kind of opens it up without having to have any of the leaves when it kind of gets a little bit more moist. This is my favorite torch here. This is the Blazer. This is terrific. Not only can you light a cigar with it, but you can actually do some welding with it if you need to. So what I'm going to do here is just hold this a little bit above the flame here and try and not get it to burn too quickly, but kind of roast it a little bit here. This is, you know, if you're lighting it, you can kind of basically get this a little bit faster, but you kind of take away from the cigar flavor a little bit when you hold it too close to the flame here. There we go. Very nice flavor to it. This right now, lighting it at first, seems more on the medium side, and I expect as we go along that it'll get more full bodied. Now to go along with it, we got a nice, this is an unblended American whiskey. This is in here, if you could see this, these are whiskey stones. What this will allow you to do is actually have the whiskey without watering it down, which is my preferred technique. So look, people. Oh, that's nice. That's a beautiful thing. Now the draw on this is a little bit tight, but still a very, very nice cigar. Starting to loosen up a little bit as we go down. Now if you look very closely, the important thing here is you kind of want to make sure that it's a nice even burn here. And you could tell if you just turn the cigar, if you see any unevenness, you really want to catch it right away, because if you don't, you're going to have a run down the cigar, and that'll about ruin the cigar. Oh, that's nice. This is a very tasty cigar. Very tasty. Now right now, I'm actually not tasting it, but it's not really, it's more on the medium side right now. I expect usually about a third of the way down, we start getting, probably become more full body. Now, I can open this up a little bit sometimes if you get a very hard draw. What you want to do is take a little something, you can kind of open up a little bit, but it seems like it's starting to open up a little here. These whiskey stones here are basically a marble stone that can be cooled, and they're not as cold as ice cubes, but they're damn near as nice as an ice cube, but it doesn't, there's no melting of the cubes. Now sometimes what I will do is I'll throw a splash of water into my whiskey because it kind of brings out the flavors just a little bit. Now as you can see, there's no chemicals or anything like that will dilute this or put anything into here. Very healthy for yourself. Salute, people. Oh yeah. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give this a little bit of touch up here, because it is very tight draw on this. Now some people prefer it. They actually like a tight draw. They like a real solid, strong cigar. I tend to keep mine a little bit moister. I keep my temperature, my humidor, probably about 67 degrees for the moisture level. And that seems to give it, you can really get a good draw on that. You can see it's burning nicely, that's a fact. But it's got nice flavors to it. It's nothing like overpowering. It's one of these cigars where you kind of like to kick back on your back deck, for a couple friends hanging out, and it's very pleasant smelling, so it's not like you're gonna offend the next door neighbor there, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Now what you want to do as it gets further down is just kind of get a gauge of where it's at as far as taste and flavor. Now it's definitely open up a little bit here. Almost has like a little bit of spice to it at the end. This is living, people. If you're not sitting here having a cigar right now, you're missing out here. So, if you're one of those, you notice I'm smoking here, right here in my townhouse. So, you gotta have a nice little chat with the wife. You gotta let her, tell her that you'll spray some deodorant, whatever it is, but you gotta enjoy this. This is living, people. Now, if you're new to cigar smoking, whiskey or even a cognac might not be your thing yet. There's no set rule, and even if there is, my rule of thumb is drink what you like, smoke what you like. You're gonna start out probably with a very mild cigar. You got to work your way up into the medium and the full body. Everybody starts out that way. So if you're having a cigar for the first time, hey, listen, you're drinking iced tea, have a nice glass of iced tea. A lot of cigars go great with a cup of coffee. It's all your own personal preference. Don't listen to the people who sit there and intimidate you and say, you gotta hold your cigar this way, you gotta do it this way. Light your damn cigar the way you're gonna light it, and drink what you wanna drink. Remember one thing, people. When you're smoking a cigar, it's for you. It's for your pleasure, so you do what comes naturally. Me personally, I like it even a good blended whiskey or even a nice single malt scotch. But, if you're having a cigar for breakfast, you probably don't want to do that. So you probably want to stick with a nice cup of coffee or something. But, even that, there's a lot of, there's flavored cigars, things like that. But anyway, back to this cigar. This very, very nice cigar here. It's got great flavors. It's a little bit tight draw, but that's due to the fact that it was in a humidor and traveling, things like that when it got to me. You can actually take the same cigar and put it in a humidor. What I like to do, people, and there's all kinds of different methods here as far as storing your cigars. People buy humidification packs. Go out and get yourself a good electronic one. You just plug it in, no brainer. It will keep it at the perfect temperature. Now, you want to kind of experiment a little bit, and I'll tell you why. Because some people will keep it at 70 degrees. They like it a little bit more moist. If you drop it down to about 67, well, then your cigars are going to be a little bit harder, but they burn nicer. So, try it out. Experiment. See what it is that you like.
You going to Nat Sherman is a fairly popular brand. You should be able to find it in good cigar shops.
Okay. They're live now?
Yeah.
Nat Sherman's is a fantastic brand. You can find most of the Nat Sherman's in any decent local cigar store. If you're online and things like that, and you hear terms like B&M, B&M means brick and mortar. And without them, the cigar industry kind of comes to a halt. So you do want to, you might be able to get online cheaper, but you do want to visit your local brick and mortar store and pick up your local Nat Shermans. This one is a larger. This is probably I believe a 7-inch by 56. So you do want, if you're looking for a shorter smoke, you could pick up a Nat Sherman. They come in multiple sizes. So you want to just, get the cigar appropriate for your time length. If you're like me and you got time on your hands and you want to smoke, well then break out the big boy. Oh yeah. This is still, I have to be honest with you people, this is still on the medium side. I don't see, I'm not feeling the full bodiedness of this, but it's a fantastic cigar. It really is. It's flavorful, and this is really one that I could sit around on a Friday night and just enjoy it with the boys, or even the wife. Don't neglect that either, okay? Now, if you are new and you're walking into a cigar shop, most times they're going to come over. Don't be intimidated. You want to look around. Just tell the people, hey, I need a little bit of time here. And if you're not sure what you're looking for, be honest with you. Tell them, hey, I'm brand new to cigar smoking. Don't, walk in there acting like you've smoked, 3,000 cigars. He's going to hand you a full body. That might not be your thing. So you really want to, as far as this cigar is concerned, this Nat Sherman would actually, I think, appease anybody, even in the mild to medium. I expect as I get further down, it will become more full body, but right now it's a very pleasant smoking cigar. There's no harshness to it. It's got a little bit, very, very tiny bit of spice to it at the end of the draw. But you see this ash right here, people? This is the important thing. Now this is where you get yourself in trouble. You see, I'm all about long ashes, and that's a big term in the cigar world. Is they will say to you, long ashes, my friend. That means basically they're hoping your cigar is a good cigar when you smoke it, and it has a nice ash. Right now you can see I got about an inch of ash right here. Now the way it goes for me is that I've seen people have an ash all the way down the middle of the cigar. That's not happening for me. What happens to me is I'll sit there and keep trying to hold that ash, and pretty soon it's going to fall off and land right on my living room floor. Then later on, your wife will yell at you. So if you're in the house smoking, make sure you watch the ash, and you can always just kind of knock that off there if you need to. Oh yeah, now it's starting to pick up a little bit more flavor here as we go along. That's how these cigars are. Even a mild cigar sometimes, if you sit there and start smoking them for a while, some of them will get a little bit more full body towards the end. Whether it's mild, medium, or full body, there's no guarantee at the end that you might not. It might either go a little bit lighter, or typically they will go heavier towards the end of the cigar. People, if you're smoking an expensive cigar, make sure you smoke it down. You really want to enjoy that cigar. So if you spend, $10 or so on a cigar, you want to make sure that you, enjoy it to its fullest. Excuse me, people. Now you see that ash still holding strong there? Now nobody laugh, of course, when this falls, okay? It's even opening up a little bit more. I'm able to get a better draw on this towards the end. This is what we call a slow burn. So, the looser cigars will burn faster. These tightly rolled ones like this that are a little bit more difficult as far as the draw in the beginning will actually last you that much longer when you're smoking it. So, if you got, like I said, if you got time on your hands, you want to keep it at this temperature that they stored it at. And most importantly, people, when you're trying out one of these fantastic brands like this Nat Sherman, it really is, this is what's considered a premium cigar. Nat Sherman is very well known in the cigar industry. So when you're smoking this thing, don't worry about it, all right? Just pour yourself your favorite beverage, smoke the cigar, and the first time you're smoking it, you might even choke a little. You gotta get past that. This is like the first time you broken your daddy's liquor cabinet and you poured yourself a drink. You started choking, right? You probably even threw up later. Cigar smoking, you know, you gotta work your way into it. And you know, once you do that and you start working your way, you'll find sooner your tastes are gonna change. You might even start out with a flavored cigar, and pretty soon you're working your way into what I call the big boy world. Although some of my friends might get offended at that. They love their flavored cigars. I'm more into a cigar like this that has, you know, nice flavors, but it's not a flavored cigar.
Where do those flavors come from?
The flavors basically come from the wrapper itself. It's not from the filler. The wrappers, it depends upon where they come from, whether it's Nicaragua, Dominican, wherever, you know, there's a lot of places that actually are producing these. The wrapper itself depends upon the oils used, the gum, all different things like that when they're actually producing these. Now most leaves are aged, wrapper leaves are aged about 3 to 5 years before they even put into production. So they're gonna pick up some flavors and things like that. I mean, I've heard people say all kinds of stuff. And listen, being as my name's Joey, I am your average Joe. So, you know, I've heard people say, oh, this cigar's got a leathery taste. Well, me personally, I don't know what leather tastes like. I could smell it on a jacket. If I taste leather in a cigar, honestly, I'm gonna throw it out because that is not a taste I want to taste. So you're gonna have a lot of that stuff. So when you start smoking cigars and you start talking about flavors and things like that, most of it is actually your detection of it, which it reminds you of. You gotta remember something. Cigar smoking it's like a memory. It's a moment in time that you're smoking that cigar. It might remind you of something. It might remind you of a time you spent with your dad, you know, and all of a sudden you're saying, hey, you know what? I feel like I detect peaches in this. Not that you're gonna, not in a cigar like this, but that might happen. It's all from the wrapper itself, even the flavored cigars. Those are infused. Those are a little bit different. They actually soak the wrappers and they infuse it where it's soaked into it. These wrappers like this are not done that way. They just pick up the sense of the factory around them. But seriously, people, that leather thing is kind of funny. I've heard all kinds of people. I've seen them in cigar reviews from some of the biggest manufacturers in it. I kind of get a giggle out of it because, listen, leather is not for me. So now I might pick up, you might detect some creaminess. You might be smoking a full bodied. I smoked one the other day. It had, you could almost smell like a cocoa or chocolatey, but it wasn't a flavored cigar. What's gonna happen is, depends upon your taste sense. I could smoke this same cigar and tell you I detect, let's say it's like a woodsy type flavor. You might smoke it and pick up something else because it's simply the wrapper on these. It's not anything else. This cigar is not packed full of flavors. What they do is they take a binder, a filler, and a wrapper. They put them all together. Depending upon where they came from, you might actually, you might pick up some flavors from inside, but 99.9% of the flavor comes from the wrapper itself. And how do I notice? Have a cigar sometime that falls apart on you and the wrapper comes off and you start smoking it. Now you'll notice it gets harsh. It does not have that same creaminess to it. That's how you know it comes from the wrapper. So don't take my word for it. Try it sometime because you will have a cigar that falls apart on you because you sat there and you left it out of the humidor. It will happen. This is really starting to open up now. I'm really digging this cigar, I gotta say. I've had quite a few of the Nat Shermans before. This is my first time trying this particular brand, and it really is a very nice, I'm going to say medium. I'm really not picking up any sense of full-bodiedness to this. Now people, again, I'm going to keep saying this over and over and over as you guys watch my videos here. You're going to have to smoke these cigars, right? You're going to try these things that people tell about. Most of the cigars you're going to find about is from asking people. You'll find that if you turn around and you don't ask somebody more knowledgeable about what's a good cigar for a beginner, or even if you're not a beginner, let's say you've been smoking a couple of years, but you haven't really ventured out, ask people. Tell them it's sort of what you like, and they'll recommend something. Try it. It's only through this you'll find out about different brands that are out there. Some of the more not widely known cigars you'll find out about. Don't be afraid to ask. It's one of those things. Listen, on the job, if you don't know something, you kind of get a little nervous. You don't want to ask somebody. Well, listen, if you don't ask somebody, you're going to turn around, you're going to buy yourself a bad cigar. All right, people, listen. I know you spent enough time with me today. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to finish up this bad boy. I'm going to finish up this whiskey. And here's an expression you might have heard before. But long ashes, my friend, and stay smoky. And thanks for watching Cigar TV. Light it up, people.